What's up, fellas? I'm back for another episode of the Blind Pig podcast, courtesy of BGObsession.com. I missed you guys last week. I'm sorry, I had some work snafooery, if we're gonna use marine terms, right, John?
Yeah, it was a clusterfuck because I was emceeing. I told him I did my best Derek imitation, but it was subpar. So we're glad to have you
meant
back.
my work situation was snafu. Hey, there's Bob. What's up, brother Bob?
Apologies, guys.
It's
You're
all
good,
right.
man.
Come in. You just came in like a wrecking ball. It's fantastic. But
No, I
happy
just
to
asked to come in.
So we are BGO Blind Pig. So before Derek takes over MC duties, I am drinking I bought these for my son and his girlfriend because they'll come visit and they'll drink beer, but they want like their generation's beer, which basically means an IPA of some kind. So I bought some Sierra Nevada juicy little IPA.
So you just did the backhanded my kid's a hipster is what I think I just heard.
Basically,
right?
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely hipsters.
Yeah, because they are drinking our IPA.
It makes me old guy shouting at clouds. I mean, that's what I am.
Get off my lawn.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah,
but it's not bad.
They don't drink a real IPA. They drink an IPA that's the unholy love child of a screwdriver and real beer.
I was gonna say I think Bob likes to chew his IPAs when he's drinking an IPA.
I'm being a little tacky. I like a really good juicy IPA. That is a really good juicy IPA. It's really funny. The one night I don't actually bring a beer to the show. We talk beer, but anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'll say I have to agree with you, Bob, especially when it's hot. Yeah.
Sour.
Well,
the hell is that?
Sipping a little whiskey. So cheers. Well, as you heard there, if you're new to the podcast, the Blind Pig is a synonym to in the old days of speakeasy. So we like to pour a drink and just talk football. So if you're out there listening, please pour yourself a drink and join in on the conversation. As we get rolling, I'll say you can find us on all major audio podcast platforms, as well as on YouTube if you want to watch and follow along. And of course, as a lot of people have done over the last couple of weeks, you can catch us at bgobsession.com. So hook us up. Like, share, follow, spread the word. Tony, do you have a beverage of choice over there right now? Or are you just
today? Nothing alcoholic today.
Nothing today. Well, cheers, gentlemen.
Yeah. He's got to be responsible.
I killed a couple while I was fixing soup tonight, but now it's time for some water. So
that's right. So, fellas, I wasn't here last week, and maybe that's why we lost. I'll take full responsibility for it.
Right.
But beyond that,
many reasons.
Yeah, I gotta say, I have been preaching this since week 1, week 4, week 6, week 8. I have continued to preach that we're ahead of schedule. Okay, like Woosah, I think we've gone up against. We did not expect to be 7-4, and I think that's indicative of some major changes. But at the same time, let's be realistic. I think we're ahead of schedule, or at least I think we are outperforming the expectation of this year. And we're going up against, when we go up against teams with top defensive units, top pass rushing units, and your starting left tackle is a rookie, and your starting quarterback's a rookie, and your starting defensive back is a rookie, and you have these things happen, you just run into good football teams. Did it with the Ravens, did it with the Eagles, did it with the Steelers. It's I think it's going to be okay. I don't think any changes need to be made. There's people already out there talking about take the defensive play calling duties away from Witt. I just think let's.
I think Cliff Kingsbury's been taking more heat, which I think is totally unfounded. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury should be like offensive coordinator of the year with what he's done with Daniels. But I've heard what I've started to see is things like maybe we should have taken Drake May. It's like, come on. Here's the thing, and this is what I said today on the board. If we had asked anyone before the season, like, okay, rookie year, total coaching turnover, how do you think we're going to do against the Steelers and the Eagles on the road? Nobody would have said, oh, yeah, those are wins. Write them down in permanent marker. Nobody would have said that. We would have all said, "Oh, that's a pretty tough. Those are tough games. We're probably not going to win those games." So guess what? And just like you said, Derek, we played a couple of the toughest defenses in the league. And you look at how those teams are playing against other good teams. Like today, I don't know if you guys saw the Steelers and the Ravens. I mean, we've got to feel pretty good about losing to both of those teams. I mean, watching that game today. So I don't know. I think people just need to slow their roll. And even though I will admit, Derek, sometimes it annoys me when you say it's a developmental year and this is all, found money. It only annoys me, honestly, because I'm like, I have grander hopes for this team. I really do. I really think this team is a playoff team and could actually make noise in the playoffs. However, I also find myself repeating every word that you've said to more extreme fans who are, want to pull their hair out because we lost to a really good Eagles team on the road.
I want to be very clear. I'm not happy with the losses the last 2 weeks. I'm a little disappointed. I feel like we had our opportunities to win both football games. However, having said that, I am not upset at the moment. I don't think changes are called for. I am firmly in the camp that Derek is in at the moment. Most people I know, even the most optimistic people I knew at the beginning of the season, and I count myself as one of those, looked at this year and went, 7 wins would be a really good season for the whole season.
Right.
Screw this midway point having 7 wins, man. But 7 out of 17 would have been a really good season. Currently, we're 7 out of 11. And the only teams we've lost to, with the exception of the Bucks, and that, I kind of throw game 1 of the season away, to be honest with you. Although that was a very different Bucks team than the one that's playing right now and the one that's only got 4 wins on the season. They've lost both their starting wideouts. Guys,
we beat them right now, and don't you think? I think we beat the Bucks right now.
Today, yes. A healthy Bucks team, I'm not sure about, John. But today, right now, playing the team that they have to put on the field every week, yeah, I think I think most people pick Washington to win that game. So I'm not upset about this. Would I have loved to have beaten Philly in Philly? Yes, absolutely. But I've got a lot of reasons for that. And most of those reasons are numbered among the stands in the link, where I would just love to rub somebody's nose in it wearing green. But that's really it. I'm not upset about this.
So Tony, where are you at spiritually and emotionally, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what I mentioned on the preview show. To me, context matters in the situation. It's just specifically these 2 games. To me, it's just like the world's worst timing. When we played the Steelers, they were coming off their bye, so they had more time to prepare. And then, as we saw today, they're used to playing Jayden Daniels style kind of quarterback, and even then, we had our chances to win. But it was it was the most physical game we had all year. And then coming off that, it's a tall task to have to go on the road immediately following that game when your entire offense is banged up. And
on a short week.
Yeah, on a short week, exactly. Road teams have a hard time on Thursday nights anyway. And then for us specifically, coming off the Steelers game, and then going into the game in Philly. And then even with all that, we're still in the game until the end, even given everything and given the situation. So for me, I feel the same. I don't feel any less optimistic about this team at all. They still came to play. They just couldn't overcome all their injuries and whatnot.
So I felt like this game, you could sum it up in this way. The reason we could not close it out against Philadelphia in their house was that we could not play complementary football. And that's COMPLEMENTARY. We cannot play complementary football. We're not a good enough football team. Maybe if Jayden Daniels is 100%, which I think we all probably would agree he might not be, even if he was and the offense was healthy, B-Rob was 100%, which I don't think he is. Even with that, I think we still aren't good enough to have one unit of the team not play well and win. And the defense played their ass off. They held up their end of complimentary football on Thursday night. The offense did not. And I'm not judging the offense. I think there's a lot going on there, which we can get into. But I just think what we saw was a defense that made Philadelphia look hapless through 3 quarters. Yeah. They made Jalen Hurts look normal and not very good. And they did not look. They kept us in that game for 3 quarters. And I knew it because every time we went in there and sputtered on offense, I'm like, the defense, they're going to be gassed, man. They're going to be gassed. And they were. And by the time the 4th quarter came around, I don't think it had anything to do with Cliff Kingsbury or anything to do with Nick Sirianni or any other coaches or players. Our defense was just flat out gassed, man. You can't ask them to go out there over and over and over again and make stops. And they couldn't. And I mean, that's what complimentary football is that you don't, everyone plays tough and does their job, and then you don't put it all on one unit.
Yeah. I want to circle back to something Tony said that really struck me. And this kind of goes with the Steeler game rather than the Philadelphia game, but they play Lamar Jackson twice a year. And Jayden Daniels is kind of Lamar Jr. at the moment. And then you throw in the bye. And then you look at the way Pittsburgh played Lamar today. Yes. I mean, they just positively made Lamar look human today, right? And if they can do that to the guy that's twice MVP, 3-time MVP, I forget how many times he's won that award in the league. They really shouldn't have that big a deal doing it to a rookie coming off a bye. I have more mixed feelings about the Philadelphia game. You said they made Hurts look bad. I got to be honest. I think Hurts made Hurts look bad as much as our defense made Hurts look bad. He did not have a game. He missed open guys. And it wasn't because he was under pressure. He just flat missed open guys. I'm thinking of that one throw to the sideline where
as soon as he let go of it, he just had his head just.
Oh yeah. I mean, he let go of it, and it looked like he was throwing the ball away, and there was no reason for him to throw the ball away because his guy was wide open. His guy had faked our fellas right out of their jock shorts, and I just there were moments that we made him look bad. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to take anything away from this defensive effort, but if Jalen Hurts plays the way Jalen Hurts can play, I think that game is out of sight sooner than it really was. Having said that, when we had the opportunity to make a play, we generally speaking made a play on defense. The offense, oh my gosh, Jayden had a lousy game. Just throw it out there. He finally had the game we were thinking that rookies will have, right? That people have been looking for week after week after week now. Although in all honesty, his stats weren't bad. It was more a case of if you watch the game, how often he didn't put the ball where the receiver needed to put the.
It's where the bar is, Bob. Not to interrupt you, but it's where the bar is now. We'd accept that game from any other quarterback in the last 10 years, but with Jayden, that's a terrible game because it didn't look anything like the incredible games we've seen from him previously.
Exactly. He has raised his own expectation level, but that didn't stop any of us, I don't think, from saying multiple times in the last several weeks that he could have that rookie game at any given point in time. This wasn't a bad rookie game, to be honest with you. I mean, what were his numbers? 22 of 32 for 191, a touchdown and an INT, and he took 3 sacks. We'd have been thrilled with a game like that from any number of quarterbacks over the last 5, 6, 7 years. It's just that this is an un-Jayden-like performance considering the first 7, 8 weeks of the season. I think
where I think you're really on target, especially is with talking about how just the defense was able to make him look ordinary. He ran 7 times for just 18 yards, 2.6 yards per rush. And that's not Jayden Daniels like right there. That's like they came in with a game plan that he wasn't going to beat him with his legs, and he couldn't. And I think on the last play on that 4th down, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute, that one I think was, if not for the miscue on the snap, which apparently Biotic didn't hear the snap. And of course, Jayden Daniels, being Jayden Daniels, said it was my fault. I got to be louder in that scenario. But clearly, Biotic snapped it at the wrong time, and that blew up what I think could have been a big play. But anyway, but I think that's them limiting him. They basically negated his legs in that game. And when you negate,
sorry, go ahead, finish, John.
No, that's it.
Okay, the other thing is, and I still think he's not 100%. There was a play where he dropped back, and there was a clear lane, and he stepped up, and he pulled the ball down, and he went to take off, and he got run down from behind by an edge defender. Week 2, Jayden Daniels doesn't get run down from behind by an edge. You know what I mean? Like, I still think that there's a little something there, and it might even be subconscious, but there's a compensation there, which happens. It's part of recovering from an injury. So I don't think there's one reason that we lost the game. I don't think there's 3 reasons that we lost the game. I think there's 7 factors as to why we lost that football game. The bad decision to go for it on 4th down instead of kicking a field goal when you already have confidence in your kicker, and that ends up putting you up by that would have retaken the lead, right? Some of the play calling that people say pound the rock, control the rock, pound the rock, control the line of scrimmage, and then when we get into short yardage, and guess who else is thinking the same thing? The defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They stop them, and then people are upset. Well, come on, the run hasn't been working all day. What do you? It's like, come on, like. Keep it in perspective. I think Jayden's injury is still lingering. I think we're going up against the two better defenses that we've played all season. I think we were on 4 days. You know what I mean? We're on 4 days. It's a short week.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, I wouldn't even say that I think Brian Robinson is 100% yet. You know, he's not explosive. He's never really been explosive, but he doesn't look as heavy running the ball as he has in the year. You know what I mean? So I think there's a handful of factors that are why we lost, and the other one is that and I'll keep saying it, we're in year 1. This is only year 1. We're not, you know.
I want to toss one other thought out there where Jayden is concerned. Consider that he's played 11 games now as a pro. Last year at this time, his season was basically over. Right? He played 12 games in the regular season with LSU. He was sitting on what effectively was a bye week at this point in the season because they get the weekend before Thanksgiving off before he played Texas A&M the weekend after the Saturday after Thanksgiving. He'd already had a bye week the week of Halloween. I think the dude's not just banged up physically. I think maybe he's a little mentally tired. We've all seen rookies hit that wall about mid-November where they're used to being done with their season. And
I'd be interested in seeing some data. I know I wouldn't argue against that because it does seem that way. I definitely would be interested in seeing, like, you know, the first 10 weeks of a rookie season versus the rest of the season in terms of how they do, just to see if that maybe is a bigger factor. I wanted to ask Tony, because I think the Dan Quinn call to go for it on 4th down, I think we got to talk about that a little bit. And I know I listened to what Quinn said after the game. And
I did not. What did he say?
Well, the interesting thing was he didn't wait to be asked. He's immediately.
He knows, yeah.
But before we talk about that, I want to hear what Tony thought about that decision.
Yeah, even before that, I feel like the spot that I feel like Bates, they could have relooked at the spot when he caught that on the sideline. So beyond that, if they didn't give us a spot, I think Quinn was thinking my defense is so gassed I want to go for it, and then hopefully we can keep the drive going, and hopefully get a touchdown. That's what I was thinking. He knows, my defense is giving their all. If we kick the field goal, they get the ball right back. Hopefully, I just want to extend the drive and hopefully get a touchdown. So that's my thought on why Quinn went for it there.
Yeah, I'm absolutely with you on that. I think what Dan Quinn was thinking is we cannot stop them, and it's not a field goal is not going to get it done. If we kick a field goal, we're going to. I mean, at the minimum, we're going to give up a field goal on the next drive, and maybe worse than that. And our best chance is to go for it, and maybe somehow we find a way to stop them. But anyway, what Dan Quinn said was, and he really did. He didn't even let them get settled in their seats, and he was like, "I didn't even ask you about the 4th down call." And what he basically said was, "Look, that was a bold call." He didn't say it was a good call. He said it was a bold call, and that the problem was they didn't execute it, and they didn't. I mean, who knows what would have happened had there not been a fumbled snap there or bobbled snap, which all it takes, that's a half a second, where the defense is reacting and you're not moving. And but anyway, that's basically what he said is, look, he recognized that it was a bold call, and but he felt like at that point in the game it was called for, and it was the execution that they needed to work on.
Well, anyway. The other thing is, to this point, he's been putting that decision in the hands of the players. You know what I mean? Jayden Daniels looks at him and says, "No, we're going." And you know what? Empower the team. And at a minimum, if you get it, great. If you don't get it, it's a learning experience for Jayden again. What I don't want him to do is change the coaching that away from. His coaching style has gotten us to 7-3. I don't want to see it change because we're 7-3. You know what I mean? You gotta ride the horses that got you here. And in week 3, he would have gone for it. You know what I mean? So, and maybe in week 3 he got it. And when we were 10 for 10 on 4th down. Now you want to be critical. What about the other 10? You know what I mean? Nobody does that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, let's be I applaud him for looking at that scenario and saying and not being different simply because we're 7-3 and we're in a game against a division opponent. This is what we've been doing to get us here. This is the game plan that we've had. This is how we have played to do it, and we're going to continue doing it better or worse. Because you start changing and you get cute, it all falls apart.
I kind of love that he brought it up, man, because that just says it's I'm the guy. I'm the one that made the call, and this is why I made it. And, yeah, I mean, can you imagine Rivera coming forward with that? Rivera would have he would have tried to get out of the press conference before they did him about the 4th down call.
Yeah. I am totally on with Derek. I heard something, and it's not completely applicable, but you kind of get the spirit of the thing. I heard something this last week listening to political stuff where nobody gets credit for the dog that doesn't bark. When you train your dog not to bark, nobody gives you credit for that. So he's gone out, and all we've done is post an unreal percentage of success on 4th down. And now everybody's mad when we miss one. Dude, we were going to miss one. It was going to happen. Nobody's perfect. Pat Mahomes is not perfect on 4th down. And I applaud the fact that I think he actually thought about it.
That's the word you're looking for.
What?
The balls. That's the word you're looking for.
Yes. He looked at the situation and he said, I'm so totally with Derek. I love the way he's coached for 11 weeks now. I don't want him to change that because this thing went sideways. I don't want him to change it in this circumstance. I don't want him to get scared and coach differently 4 weeks from now because we fans were too dumb to applaud the fact that they went out and had balls, So
and by the way, we have a practice squad kicker. I mean, he's done great.
That's true. Yeah.
But I mean, that's not a little thing. It's like, look, you can only go to that well. I mean, we've struck gold with Siebert and all season long, but then you're going to ask a practice squad guy to kick a long field goal, and so I think that probably factored into it also. I wanted to run through the stats because that's my thing. We were held scoreless. Excuse me. We held the Eagles scoreless. I'm sorry, guys. I should not have a juicy little thing IPA before I start. We were held scoreless in the second quarter, and we only scored 3 points in the third quarter. So that's like 3.5 points, which is probably our worst half of football in a while. But again, we were playing a pretty tough defense. We lost time of possession. Again, I'm going to keep beating on that drum. And I already talked about it. Actually was not as bad by the end of the game. It was 33-27 to the Eagles, but I think it was actually worse than that up until the last few minutes. Only 25% on third down conversions. The Eagles completed almost 60%. We had 264 net offensive yards to the Eagles 434. Average gain per play was 4.2 yards to the Eagles 6.2. We only averaged 3.3 yards of rushing per rush to the Eagles 5.7. I put an asterisk next to that one because that was the thing. They gashed us on the run all day long. We lost
No.
I have to rebut that.
Yeah.
It was 2 plays. It was 2 plays at the end in the fourth quarter.
All right. Well, that's fair. That's fair. But they were two great plays.
They were, and to your point, they were gassed. But through 2.5 quarters, Saquon Barkley did not look special at all.
We lost the turnover battle. We did force a fumble, but we also had an interception and a fumble. I think it was Eckler that fumbled. I'm not sure about that, but we lost the punt average, and that's when you know we're going to lose. When Tress Way gets out-punted by the other guy, that is not good. On a positive note, we were 100% from the red zone. The problem is we only got there twice the whole game. And I really think that tells the tale of the game is that when you can't get in the red zone, your chances of scoring are not very good, and we could not get there.
You talked about the running game. I felt like B-Rob was kind of ripping them early on. He looked a whole lot better than Saquon did in the first half of the football game. And I can't decide whether or not they were being careful with him, and that's why they didn't ride him harder. I'd have been tempted to feed him the ball more, milk the clock more. Take some time off the clock. Let the defense sit on the sideline. I felt like we maybe didn't mix in the run enough early on. The problem is nobody but B-Rob was really making the yards.
No, and Eckler and McNichols barely touched the ball. They had 12 yards combined.
Yeah,
rushing.
Eckler
had a lot of passes.
They threw at Eckler like all day long.
Yeah.
They didn't rush him.
One call out I have to call out, and I have to say, Mike Sanderstill.
Oh yeah,
my gosh.
Had the coming out party. Like that dude looks like he's gonna be a dude.
We've now rookie of the week. He should be defensive rookie of the week in a losing effort.
Yeah, that dude had a game. Like he was everywhere. He was past defenses. He was tackling in the backfield. I mean, he was everywhere. And AJ Brown absolutely shellacked us the last time we faced him. And I don't know. I haven't looked at his stats, but I can't remember a single catch of his. Nothing jumps off.
Yeah, he didn't dominate.
He had 5 of 65. He had 5 465 on 8 targets, no touchdowns, and a long of 25 yards.
And I think that 25-yarder came when Hurts broke the pocket. It was zone coverage, if I'm remembering correctly, and Brown kind of leaked into the cushion, and he caught it and was able to turn upfield. But Sanders still had a defensive play in the end zone. He was everywhere. So Lattimore's going to be coming back.
Yeah.
I am excited to see what our secondary looks like.
And then even for this game, St. Juice didn't embarrass himself. So
that's true.
So I got to give him credit there too.
Luvu had a good game.
Yeah.
He had a couple sacks.
And Jahan Dotson made that first play of the game catch, then didn't do anything.
And Quinn had another good game. I think Jeremy Quinn was our leading tackler. He had like 12 tackles.
He's been playing really well.
And 10 solo. Dude was kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough game, man. I don't know what I mean. And as I guess borderline as our offense was at times, we still did anyone else have the feeling of like, okay, I don't know how after the fourth down attempt failed, it's kind of like the game's over, but then like it's not over. I kept saying in chat it's over, and people are like, shout me down, it's over, shut up. Yeah. But it wasn't, and then next thing you know, we're like trying an onside kick or whatever. But anyway, I felt like
it felt deflating because of how well the defense was playing, and there was no response. So you're just waiting. That was like, and I'm not trying to say this in a bad way, but that kind of brings you back to that waiting for the other shoe to drop feeling. Now, the problem, the difference this year is that this was against the Eagles, who look to be a legitimate contender. And for the past 20 years, we've been having games like this against teams that have no business even playing against us, where the defense is doing their job, but they're sticking around. You're not putting them away, and then they end up making you look bad, and we're playing down to our put. This time, it was a situation of, I think our fingernails were just holding on for dear life, and it just ran out of time, and it was it.
So I want to throw a provocative question out there, and please don't assume that I think this, because I don't. But I've seen folks posting on our board at bgobsession.com that maybe if Jayden Daniels is not healthy, and he's probably not, maybe we should be starting Mariota instead of Jayden.
God, no.
I agree.
No, all right. Look. If win or lose this football game, Jayden Daniels is going to learn more on the field than off the field. Okay, I don't think he's in a situation now. 3 weeks, let's wait 2 more weeks from now. He has 2 more bad games, and you want to say, hey, park it for the last 2 games of the season. Let's have that conversation. But we're going up against a team that is, for all intents and purposes, inferior. Okay, everything would tell you that we're better than them. They're on a backup quarterback. They're one of the worst teams in the league right now. He's going to have 10 days to get ready for them.
Exactly.
The level of defense that we played last week is here, and the defense we're going to be playing this week is down here. So I think more important, it's get him back out there.
Well, I think guys are arguing that we should have started Mariota against the Eagles.
I don't think if Mariota plays, I don't think we win that football game. Like, not to sound terrible, but
I was going to say if I had been tempted to park him for a game, it would have been Thursday night, and the reason for that would have been that 4 days is a tough turnaround for a guy that's healthy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a tough turnaround for a guy that's healthy. A guy that's got a rib problem, man, that's a tough ask. He's taking shots, from the Steelers and those ribs, and now we're gonna put him back out there on 4 days rest. If I were gonna park him, but here's the thing: I have tremendous belief in Dan Quinn and his staff now that I didn't have the last several years. I have more belief in Daniel's willingness to be coachable and to potentially hold his hand up and go, I'm probably not the best guy for this at the moment. He doesn't give me RG3 vibes. He doesn't give me the vibes of I've got to play no matter what. I'm going to say I'm good no matter how bad it is. So he's not saying he needs to come out as far as we know, because I think if he did, the coaching staff had pulled him. And the medical staff isn't saying that he needs to sit. So I don't see a reason to sit him. But I wouldn't park him against Dallas this week. That's a lousy idea, I think.
Yeah, I think this, especially the Dallas game is like coming off the mini bye. Jayden, of all people, needs the extra time, and the entire offensive line needs extra time. So yeah, I would not bench Jayden Daniels.
So I 1000% endorse what you guys are saying, and I've argued against that. The few people I've seen say that, I think at even limited, he is the best quarterback we've had in 20 years.
Oh yeah,
and I just think, the thing about it is, and I've said this before, and again, I'm in healthcare, so I feel like I have some expertise on this topic. But if he's got an intercostal rib injury, which it sounds like he does, which basically means he's got torn cartilage between two ribs, that hurts like hell. It hurts every way that you move, every way that you, especially if you're getting tackled, it hurts like hell. And I think one thing we're going to find out after the season's over is that Jayden Daniels is a GD warrior for going out there. I'm sure he's getting shot up. He's getting lidocaine in that rib area or whatever. But I guarantee you, he's playing. He may not be super limited, but he's definitely hurting. And and I don't think that's. People were saying, "Oh, we get a long bye week. He'll heal up." No, he won't. If he's got torn cartilage between those ribs, we'll see him healed next year. Probably not this year. It's going to be something he has to deal with all year long, which is unfortunate. But I'll take a little bit lame Jayden Daniels over about 90% of the quarterbacks in the league right now. So that's
well,
for sure.
The other thing is, it goes back to what I said earlier. You play the horses that got you here. If we were 4-7, would he be playing? If the answer is yes, then you play him at 7-4. We cannot get so wrapped up in the fact that we're in division contention and we're if he's good enough to play, you play him, and if he's not good enough to play, you park him. And I think the other thing that people need to realize, and I'm not going to totally go too forecasted here, but if you look at the remainder of our schedule, we just went through the gambit, okay, of the hardest part of our schedule, and we came out of it 3-3, okay? If you go back to the Ravens game, Ravens loss, Panthers win, convincing win, Bears Hail Mary win, Giants win to sweep. And then you lose to Pittsburgh and you lose to Philly. Now we've got Dallas, Tennessee, New Orleans, Philly, Atlanta, and Dallas. So that Philly-Atlanta sequence is going to be tough, but I think we're going to see a different team on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
I said a couple weeks ago, look, if we can split the 4-game stretch that we're halfway through, and I anticipated we might lose to the Steelers and the Eagles. If we can beat Dallas and the Titans, which I think we're in pretty good shape, that I don't think that's unreasonable to expect that. We're at 9-4 with a bye week.
Yeah, finally.
And then what do they say? I've never understood what the hell this means, but Katie bar the door. And I don't know where that phrase came from, but if we're 9-4 coming out of a bye week to finish the season, I mean, I like our chances of getting to the playoffs and even making some noise in the playoffs.
Well, fellas, I think we all just need to I hope everybody just takes a minute to take a deep breath and actually look at where we're at before you start getting upset.
And appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's going to be an interesting month, these next 4 games are going to say a lot towards how the end of the season goes. But I'm happy we're here. I figured 6 wins was going to be a good season, and we've surpassed that. So,
yeah, in years past, we'd be like well into looking at the draft already.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony, in normal seasons, we're like out of the playoffs by now.
Oh yeah.
That's almost not an exaggeration. It might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but we're like 1 or 2 weeks from being out of the playoffs mathematically in some of the recent seasons. So it's like, holy shit, we're like talking about the playoffs, and it's, we're past the mid season.
Yeah, it's November.
Well, and to kind of pick up on something you've been beating the drum over the last couple of days on the boards, John. We picked up a little bit of breathing room today. The Bears lost, the 49ers lost. I forget, there was a third team in there you said we wanted to lose today, and I forget who it was.
Yeah, I was frantically trying to find that post.
Yeah.
But
and I can't, it's in the poll thread, and I can't find it either.
We broke the Bears, man. Like they just been losing. It's our game.
Not wrong, Tony. The Bears have not been the same team since that game.
Yeah, there were like three. There were like 3 teams that had 6 wins or more, and then there's a bunch of like 4-win teams, and some of those 4-win teams.
Well, we would have wanted the Packers to lose. The Packers beating the Bears took them to 7-3, right? We would have wanted the Bears to win, because then the Bears would have been 5-5, but we would have had the tiebreaker.
Who's at the top of that division though?
Detroit and Minnesota are running away with that,
dropping 50 points like it's nothing.
Yeah, all they did today was hang 52 on the Jags.
Yeah. Well, it's the kind of shit Dan Quinn would roll his eyes at and say, "We don't fucking look at that. We don't worry about that. We got to win on Sunday, and we'll let the dust settle where it settles." That's what he would say. But we're fans, so we're trying to feed our anxiety, all the way along.
Well, it's literally the wild card is us, Minnesota, and Green Bay. I mean, nobody else is within striking distance. Dallas is third in our division with 3.
The Vikings were the other one we wanted the Vikings to lose.
Yeah, but they're 8-2. I don't think at that point you just let them ride off into the sunset. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess the good news is we're pretty sure that Dallas and the Giants are not going to be playoff teams this season. So that is a beautiful thing.
3-6 and 2-8. Well, gentlemen, we'll probably be talking up our Dallas prep pod in the coming days, probably Tuesday, I'm thinking, maybe. But we'll get more information out on the board if you were looking around to see when we're going to drop that. So if nobody else has anything, I'll go ahead and wrap it up with the famous words of "That'll do, pigs. That'll do."